I think we're just at the very beginning of what incentive prizes can do. And at the end of the day, if I had $1 billion of capital and I really wanted to go out there and change the world, I'd probably go out there and create $10, $100 million prizes. And drive where graduate students have passion and vision, where they set the careers, where companies push their R&D dollars, and change the conversation of what people think is possible. Because fundamentally, that is the very first thing. We heard it before. The most critical tool in changing and solving all our grand challenges is the passionate and committed human mind. First and foremost, more important than anything else. And making people believe that a problem can be solved is the first step. So when I put on my title here that the best way to predict the future is create it yourself, I believe that. And I believe that each of us as corporate CEOs and heads of government agencies need to chart out a vision of where we're going and make it happen. So you know the story of the XPRIZE. My friend Greg Marinak, sitting in the audience, gave me that book, and in reading that inspired me to create the Ansari XPRIZE because I wanted to fly into space, and I had given up on the chances of becoming a space shuttle astronaut. But what was key, besides the fact that 9 different teams spent $400,000 to win a $25,000 prize, and Raymond Ortega backed automatically the most unlikely team, but that was the winner. What was key was that within 18 months of Lindbergh's flight, something happened. It went from 6,000 passengers in the United States to 180,000. It wasn't like the air got thicker, or people got richer, or gravity got less. There was a paradigm change, what people believed was possible. And that, in reading that a dramatic big event could literally change what people thought was possible and transform markets, that was the take-home message. And by the time I had finished reading the book, the idea of the XPRIZE came up. The letter X originally stood for the name of the person who was going to put up the money. I had no idea who was going to do it. Honest truth. It took me 5 years to find the Ansari family. I interviewed and met with, from Richard Branson to Fred Smith to 100 CEOs, and they all said it's too risky. Why isn't NASA doing this? And of course, isn't someone going to die trying? And at the end of the day, they didn't capitalize on the opportunity. But a $10 million prize was enough to attract the maverick innovators, but not the traditional players. A 3-person spaceship, 2 flights in 2 weeks. All of these rules, as I'll speak about in a minute, were designed to build an industry on the back end of this. Not enough to have a historic spaceship hanging there in Space Museum, which is great, but that would be a failure if that's only what happened. The enduring benefit was the creation of an industry. So we got 26 teams from 7 countries, miraculously, to spend $100 million. And at the end of the day, there wasn't one design. There was a Darwinian evolution of designs. Every single possible approach to go after this type of flight was tried. And we got 6 billion media impressions, worth $120 million for the $10 million. The Ansari family was thrilled. After having sold a $1 billion company, they were far better known for the Ansari XPRIZE than building telecom technologies. And of course, very proud, at least for me as a 9-year-old kid who had wanted to fly into space, this winning spaceship now hanging in the Air and Space Museum above the Apollo 11 capsule next to the Spirit of St. Louis. It doesn't get better than that, folks. It just doesn't. And of course, the attributes of an incentivized competition, if it's designed properly, whether it's from our friends at Innocentive or from NASA Centennial Challenges or DARPA, if you do it right, you get tremendous leverage, 10 to 40 times the prize amount spent to win the competition. Efficiency, you only pay the winner. How great is that? Not someone with a good idea, someone who really wanted to try hard, but you pay the guy or the gal who actually pulls it off. And then probably one of the most important elements, at least for an XPRIZE, is that you don't back a single solution like you do in venture capital. You back an entire industry. So you have, the winner may not be the best approach. You got there first. God bless them. But you might back an entire industry that then goes into business practice and then compete and drive forward solutions. So after the success of the Ansari XPRIZE, we made a commitment to take this prize model forward. We built a team of about 45 to 50 individuals. You met my partner Bob Weiss earlier. And we set out to build an organization to use best practices to create these large prizes in life sciences, in exploration, which is space and underwater, energy and the environment, education, global development. And it is hard work. You know, you guys said it is hard work to write the DNA of a prize. Well, you sign a contract with the teams competing. You have to be prepared to stand by that for 3 to 8 years. And so doing it right is hard work. We now have 3 prizes we've launched. The Archon XPRIZE for genomics is our first prize. What you have to do to win this is sequence 100 human genomes in 10 days. And if we do our job right, this will be heralding in an industry of private, personalized medicine, taking medicine from something which is reactive to something which is proactive in changing how we address disease. The Google Lunar X Prize, a $30 million prize. All you have to do is build a robot, fly it, land it on the surface of the moon, send back photos and videos, rove a half a kilometer, and send back more photos and videos. We have 18 teams from a dozen countries around the world building these private vehicles. And if we do our job right, our partners at NASA are going to be the biggest beneficiaries, bringing down the price of low-cost, reliable lunar landing capability by a factor of 10. And believe me, the scientists will be the biggest beneficiaries, and humanity, as a result of that, the biggest beneficiaries. The next prize that is going to be won in our lineup is happening next summer, and it's the Progressive Automotive X Prize. Now, Progressive Insurance, and you'll hear from Glenn Renwick, the CEO of Progressive, tomorrow during the energy panel, has stepped forward to help us in a competition which is going to be designing a new generation of cars. Cars that, if they're done right, will be put into production, hopefully, in the plants in Detroit. Cars that demonstrate efficiency, speed, safety, beauty, and by the way, get over 100 miles per gallon. So you don't have to choose, you can have it all. We are blessed by the support of DOE in our outreach campaign, Fuel Our Future Now. And again, stand by. Amazingly, we just closed registration. We have 136 vehicles from 11 nations, 25 US states, competing in that Progressive Automotive X Prize. So I just want to run through very quickly what some of the attributes of prizes are. You have to target market failures. If the commercial market's doing well, forget about it. You don't need to have a prize there. Clear, objective, simple rules. Hard but attainable. 3 to 8 year time frame. Less than 3 years was too simple. More than 8 years, no one cares. Define a problem, not a solution. You know, the proper size incentive prize. I can come back to that in Q&A if you want. We look at multiple prizes and bonuses. We launch above the line of super credibility. When we announced the X Prize, we had the head of NASA, the head of the FAA, 20 astronauts behind us, head of the Lindbergh family there. It really captured global attention. We drive persistent media exposure. We assure there's a back-end business model. Make sure it's telegenic, open to teams around the planet. We use a deadline to drive teams to take risks. You know, we are killing ourselves, not only in this nation, but as a species, by how risk-adverse we've taken. The day before something is truly a breakthrough, it's a crazy idea. Where in our society do we take the risks required to open up these crazy ideas? We hope to bring in new capital, maverick doers, crowdsource genius out there, you know, overcome the existing constraints that we have, and generate public awareness. Ultimately, we're about making heroes out of our teams, about driving global media attention, about launching new industries. And for me, it's about changing the paradigm of what is possible. Changing the paradigm of what is possible.